Now we live in the age of artificial intelligence, commonly called AI. I'm going to talk about the human edge. Now, by being a human being, what is the edge that we have? So before we begin, let's take a long deep breath and allow our body to settle, our mind to open. Yeah, keep everything else out and be with me completely and stay with me. And set a personal intention that you will keep your attention completely focused throughout today's session. Now, the world in which we live, there is constant disruption going on. A lot of opportunities also. But the way things were done, they're not being done the same way. Like if you remember when the typewriters were replaced by computers and so on. Okay? Now everybody's walking around with a computer in his pocket, a telephone in his pocket. So in the world that we live in right now, change is no longer occasional. It is happening all the time. Now, with this rapid growth in technology, who are the people who are going to lead? Research in 2025 shows that while technology and AI are accelerating, the differentiation of successful people and teams is not going to be technical mastery. It's going to be human connection, emotional intelligence, and adaptability. So that's what I want to talk about. Why the human edge is very, very important. So let's look at 3 major reasons why our human edge matters more than ever before. The first thing is called connection and trust. Now, in times of disruption, when things are changing rapidly, people look for leaders or colleagues who can reassure them, who can build trust, who can navigate, the ambiguity together. There's so much uncertainty and they're looking for someone, whom they can trust. So research emphasizes that connection and trust are the foundation of thriving teams. The second thing is emotional intelligence and resilience. When change is fast, the internal terrain matters, your emotional state, your capacity to bounce back, your ability to read yourself and others. Leaders who have a high emotional quotient are better able to respond, adapt, and lead their teams. Another very important thing in these times is purpose and meaning. With so many roles and environments changing and shifting, what remains constant is meaning. When we anchor ourselves in our purpose, our work, our creations, our days get clarity. This will boost engagement, fulfillment, sustainability. So the human edge is not a soft option. It's not optional. It is deeply strategic in today's time. So it is good to shift from, like normally we are pushed around or we are driven by change. We have to learn how to lead with change. So I remember, one big change which happened for me was when COVID hit. So there was no longer a possibility of conducting face-to-face training programs. So instead of being a victim to that situation, I quickly adapted myself and I said, hey, listen, I have not explored this online space so much, so let me do that. And I mastered it, and that's why I'm talking to you today. So here is a shift I would like you to do this morning. Instead of being driven by this change, choose to lead. Choose to lead with change. Let me repeat that. I'm sorry about that. Instead of being driven by change, by being reactive, overwhelmed, or in a frenzied state, choose to lead with change. By being proactive, grounded, co creating with others. What does it mean? Instead of saying what is happening to me, you should be saying what is happening for me. How can this benefit me? How can I make use of this change? How can I leverage it? So instead of saying what is the next technical tool I should master, better to ask yourself, how will I remain human? How will I remain present, connected, and purposeful? Doesn't mean don't learn tech tools, please do. But what is very, very important is how to remain human, how to be present. See, along with all this AI, we don't want to become a robotic person, do we? So instead of how do I survive this wave of change, this thought comes now, how will I survive? Ask yourself, how do I ride this wave with clarity, contribution, and joy? How can I be on top of it? So imagine you are the center of a ripple of influence. Yeah, you are the influencer, not just a tile in a mosaic of change, You become someone who uses change as a springboard, not as a stumbling block. Because if you use it as a springboard, you will be ahead of everybody else. Otherwise, you'll be like others, paralyzed. So let's look at a few practical applications. I'd like to introduce to you 3 practices we can do. This is what I used. So you can apply these 3 practices this week. So the first one is be present again. Check it. Are you being present? Every morning, take 2-3 minutes, close your eyes, breathe deeply. Now, for some of you, this would have become a part of your first 90 seconds. When you wake up, and ask yourself, how am I feeling? What do I need today? How can I show up in integrity and ease? This creates self-awareness and anchors you in your own field. Second thing is an intention to connect with others at work or otherwise. So at work, I would recommend that you choose one person every day. It could be a colleague or a team member or a client, and ask them one question from curiosity, not an obligation. After all, he's another human being working with you. You can be curious about him or her. So listen to them fully. The quality of connection you bring by doing this will create a ripple effect. And of course, what I always say, the third thing is do a purposeful pause at least once in a week. So at the end of the week, please reflect. What did I create? What difference did I make? Does this align with the bigger picture I'm committed to? Whatever I did, does it align with the bigger motive or the bigger purpose that I'm committed to? Now use this pause to calibrate your actions, your energy, and your directions. So wherever you find that you're deviating, you can bring yourself back. Now you're going to find something very interesting happening when you consistently apply these practices. You build your human edge muscle. You become someone who adapts fluidly, you connect authentically, and you contribute to people authentically. So let me share a quick story. something which was happening with a colleague I know very well. This is about a leader who embraced the human edge. Okay? Like I shared about myself, this is a person where a lot of change was happening and they used this. They did not hide behind technology. This person I know used all these steps every day, talking to people, listening to them, being calm and purposeful. Okay? Now, what stood out for me when I listened to them was they did not hide behind technology or the process. They leaned into the human dynamic. They held their team together, kept them calm and peaceful. They kept them steady in the time of uncertainty. They kept asking, what do we need? What is meaningful? How do we stay connected? So unlike other teams where there was a lot of panic about adapting AI and why are you not learning it and people being scared of it, this person made the team calm and peaceful and purposeful and helped them to leverage the strengths, the human strengths that they have. And you know what? They just did not survive, they thrived, they evolved, they started doing better. So they used this change to grow, not to get disrupted. So they turned disruption into a possibility platform. That's what I like to say. So here is what I would invite all of you to commit to from today onwards. In your next day, choose one moment to be fully present. Disconnect from devices, reconnect with people. Choose one question you will ask someone this week from genuine curiosity. Choose one moment at the end of this week to pause and reflect on your purpose, your human edge, your contribution. If you do this, you will step into your power. You will regain your power as someone who does not react to change, but uses it with heart, curiosity, and clarity and purpose. So before we close, I ask you to close your eyes. If you're comfortable, take 3 deep breaths and say, deep breath 1, deep breath 2, and say to yourself internally, I am more than the change. I am the presence in the change. I lead with connection. I lead with purpose. I lead with my human edge. Now take another deep breath in, hold for a moment, breathe out, and allow the truth to settle in your body and your mind and your energy field. So thank you very much, guys, for being here. And may your day be anchored in the human edge. May your work flow with ease and impact, and may your presence uplift anyone you touch. And go ahead and use your human touch.